Oh, God. Yeah. Um, I originally thought that I would do commentary while sharpening these knives. So I drank while sharpening the knives, which probably wasn't a great idea, as you'd see towards the end of this video. But yeah, I wanted to try something a little bit different, and I hadn't made a video in a while because I've been so busy in trying to do prep work for Franbo Death March, which I will do it soon. I just been really busy, so I haven't had time to really research how to or research all the ins and outs of it. I will get to that soon, but in the meantime, I've also been trying to figure out new video ideas and things to do for this channel because I had not made a video soon, and I'm going to need to make something other than Franbo videos as well. And I thought, oh, well, this should be an opportunity. We can sharpen some knives and do some commentary and make a video. And actually, I'm trying out a new style of doing things here because I figured out that in the last update, Lightworks actually has a add commentary feature on their recording program, or in the editing software, which is nice. And usually I use two different programs to do the audio recording for these things and then dubbing, but the dubbing can sometimes be a little bit of a bastard because you got to I have to record them on two different programs and then make the audio into a readable format for Lightworks and then put it in Lightworks and then sync everything up. Which is something that will actually which is something I'm actually experimenting with my capture software, which is the reason why part of this video took forever to fucking edit, because I realized in another update, actually my capture software, the NVIDIA software that I use to capture the game footage, it also has a similar feature where you can dub audio commentary at the same time and game footage, but you can record it on separate tracks. I did not know this when I recorded some video for the game that I was going to talk about, and so I tried to do my usual editing, and I got all these weird error messages with Lightworks, and it wouldn't let me do any like sort of transitions or anything, which was a big pain in the ass, and I hated it. And so that took up most of the day. But now I'm here. I have some booze, and I figured that I would do a quick rundown and see if I can get some decent audio ramblings for the purpose of this knife sharpening video. So planned topic before I rambled through 3 minutes of the opening of this thing is so what I've been up to since around when I came back from Oregon, actually. Really busy. It's near the end of the school year. Well, in January it wasn't the end, but there was still a lot of stuff that I had to do. We had a lot of prep work, and there was a lot of extracurricular activities and stuff. I also had the final bit of the English camp that I was a part of, which entailed us all, me and 3 or 4 other people getting on to a city chartered bus to go up to the American Air Force Base nearby here, which was kind of fun. We got to go to the base, got to see some jets and stuff fly around, and we went to the elementary school that they have up there, so that the kids could see an American classroom. The kids really liked it. It was interesting. I ended up sort of chatting with a teacher there that was interested in how I got my job and what all I did, and how my Japanese got to the level that it is now, which was it was an interesting experience. And it was nice. Truth be told, I'm glad that that camp is over now, because it took a little part of me, because that, like, in the summer it was so busy and I had so much crap to do, especially with, the main program as well, that towards the end of the summer with the camp and the program and all else, I was just tired as hell. And that last summer was a bit hazy for me, which is why I'm not doing camp this next year. Um, yeah, and oh yeah, so I'll tell you the story because you'll think it's great. Um, when I was at the Air Force Base, I was talking to, like, some of the American students that were there. The kids that are, like, there because their families are in the Air Force and whatnot. And I saw a kid in one of the classrooms. He was sort of sitting off to the side. I didn't know if he was in trouble or if he was just tired and just kind of sitting off, like, in the edge of the classroom and whatnot. And he had this sort of, like, vacant look in his eye, and I looked at him and sort of jokingly said, like, "Oh, you look like how I feel, kid, because I'm really tired. I had to get up early and then come here and all this, and I've been really busy." And the kid looked up to me, and he said this and only this, and it was great because the kid just looked up at me, looked into my eye, and went, "I've been here for 2 years and I'm still tired," and then looked back down to the ground. And that was the last thing that he said to me. And oh god, I almost cried. I laughed so hard. Uh, but it was just so great. Otherwise, yeah, now the camp is over, and I got an amazing plaque with a bunch of thank you notes from the students that participated in the camp, which made it somewhat more worthwhile than it was before. Um, Otherwise, I'm getting really ready for spring to start, because it's still cold and still frozen, and there's still so much ice out, and I'm tired of it. Plus, the winter is that magical time of year when everybody asks me if I'm cold all the time, even if I'm sweating. I don't understand it. If I wore, like, body mounted recording gear by the end of a single winter, I'd probably have enough cuts of people asking if I'm cold to make a fairly good remix. But it doesn't matter. Like, people will ask me if I'm cold even if I'm sweating. They'll come up to me at my desk and I'll be wiping sweat off of my head, like visible sweat off my head from the heating being on too high. And they'll ask me, "Well, aren't you cold? You're wearing short sleeves." And I'll just look up at them like, "You understand how sweat works, right? Like, when is the last time you've stood outside on a cold, snowy day and went, 'Ah, it's so cold, I'm sweating'?" No, that doesn't happen. So, needless to say, I'm pretty ready for spring to start. Um, Otherwise, yeah, so part of the reason that I haven't done a bunch of videos lately is that I've been playing a few games, and after the hole that finishing The Witcher 3 has left, I've been playing some other games that I haven't had time for before. And one of those games has been Killer is Dead. Alright, so Killer is Dead. Killer is Dead is a hack and slash brawler game made by Suda51 and a bunch of other crazy assholes. It's a pretty fun game. I've been playing it a lot because I got it for free on Good Old Games. They're having some sort of promotion or whatever. And it's really fast-paced. It's pretty stylish in its presentation, and the gameplay is actually pretty fun, and I enjoy it a lot. That being said, it is a Suda51 game, and I do like his games for the gameplay and the weirdness of them, but the story is completely fucked. I mean, this isn't really news for Suda51 games in general, but yeah, you play as this dude named Mondo, and you start off in an alley, and you kill this guy. The moon turns purple, as it does on a Saturday night. And then you end up in a hotel and you kill this other asshole, and then you get hired by some French dude to go kill his neighbor because apparently he thinks she's some sort of monster. You go to this woman's house where it's like fucking crazy Wonderland, and then you go to her candy room, in which she tells you that some guy from the moon named David did this to her before she turns into a giant bug monster. So you kill her. But a game made by a sane person. After this happens, after you cut this woman's head off, it would start some sort of, string of intrigue where you go through mission by mission finding clues as to who this guy David is and how he's involved with turning French women into giant bug monsters. And then, 2 missions later, bam, you're on the moon fighting David the Golden Bondage King. So, you know, it's not really all that together tonally wise, but it's a fun game regardless, and, you know, I can't really complain that much for a game that I got for free. You know, if you're in the market for a nice little time sink, a good hack and slash game to entertain yourself for a while, and you like things that are a little bit weird, or, you know, you just have you have a pressing need of a game or of more games with Golden Bondage Kings in them, then yeah, you should go pick it up. I believe it's fairly cheap on Steam now because it's not a fairly new game. It's a good game. I've also been trying to write a little bit more. Recently, it's a hobby that I've sort of left by the wayside in recent times. And I'm trying to get back into it. Part of the effort for that is that I made a little private subreddit to put my writings up on, so I can write and then post it to there, and then people can read and critique it. And I will see if I can I'll see if Sober Me, when putting this up on YouTube, can put a link in the annotations for that, so you can read it at your leisure and leave me some critique if you'd like. If not, then that's totally fine too. It's mainly that, you know, I want to get back into the habit of doing it again, because it is a hobby that I enjoy, and I haven't had a lot of time for it or attention for it lately. Oh God, other videos. So I haven't forgot about Franbo Death March. I've been so busy lately that I haven't really had time to do much prep work for it too, and I'm still trying to figure out a way where I can get possibly some guest commentary, because I know if I'm going to do it live, then especially if I'm going to be doing it live and that drunk, then it might take a while without at least another pair of eyes on the team. I'm trying to figure out what the best way to do that is. I might end up using Twitch or something, but I haven't decided yet. The other option I have is to do is if I have guests, to do it locally and have my friend Anna or Chris come over and then get sloshed with me and try to help me do it. Speaking of, oh yes, also, the other Tiki Dream video. So I'm going to be working on the next Tiki Dream video soon. I don't know exactly when it will be done, but it will be up sometime soon. Yeah, as soon as I can, I'll put it up. Tiki Dream videos are always kind of interesting. And I'll be using a different sort of technique to do it this next time, so it shouldn't be as nasty as the first one was. Oh God. So speaking of YouTube, our little place here. Well, you know, if I haven't already, because I can't remember, most of the time that I spent with you during December was rather hazy, because we were fairly drunk most of the time. But if you're looking for some new YouTube channels to watch, I wanted to put some recommendations up. So the first is Tau Fledermaus, and Tau Fledermaus is a pretty good channel. Basically, most of what they do some like scientific experiments and other like scientific concept videos and stuff, which are pretty interesting. But most of what they do is they obtain weird or unusual shotgun slug rounds, or they have them sent in by people who've made them to test them out, and then they showcase them on the show and show what they do and how they work and whether or not they're any good and whatnot. But they get some really weird sort of ordnance on this show to test, and the actual presentation and the style of how they do things is actually really good. It's interesting scientifically to just sit down and watch it. And they're pretty calming videos. You can sit down and just sort of put them on and just watch from video to video, see what happens, and not have to, think too hard. Another one, another one that I just found recently, which is hilarious. He doesn't have much videos up as of yet, but it is pretty funny and interesting channel called Terrible Writing Advice, which is hilarious because it's just based like one author. He has a few books out, and he talks about like shitty practices or traditions in writing and how to make them not as shitty. And it's interesting if you've never seen it before, and some of the insights that he has is really funny and insightful. Um, if you have not seen any of his videos yet, I would watch Forgotten Weapons. He's also on YouTube, and it's basically just like one guy who goes around that he reviews, analyzes, and sort of tears down various weapons from like as far back as like the 1700s to now. Just like weird, obscure weapons and firearms that haven't really been part of the mainstream or been forgotten about or were just weird. And it's kind of fun to see like the weapons and tools of war that have been a little bit weird or obscure throughout the course, and to see why they weren't as successful or widespread as others. Oh yeah, and I feel like I'm obligated to mention Rice Master just because I watch a lot of his videos. Rice Master is fucking insane. I'm not sure if he's insane or if just the people he finds to make videos for are fucking insane, because he does a lot of re-uploads from like Nico Nico Doga and stuff. But the videos that he puts on his channel, both like are absolutely fucking bonkers and have required like an absurd amount of work to be put into them. It's weird and it's interesting. Me and a friend of mine, Logan, pick through his channel and find good ones to send each other because they're great. They're weird, but they're great, and I love them. Uh, yeah. So yeah. Otherwise, yeah. So in March, I have some Australians coming, and they're gonna hang out for 2 days, and they need me to help them translate and show them around Omori and stuff. Well, that should be fun. Whenever Bogans come down and you can hang out with them, it's usually a pretty fun time. Experience has sort of told me that anytime you get to have to hang out with some Australian friends is usually worthwhile. Um, oh yeah, please tell me if there's specific stuff you want to do or see here in Aomori or in Japan while you're here in June, because I can try to figure out and make it happen. As far as Aomori goes, remember we do have like we have the Nebuta museums, we have castles, we got the ancient Jomon archaeological ruins. Sanai Maruyama is actually here. We have the old historic boats, and we have interesting little shops and restaurants and stuff. So if there's anything that you really want to do, let me know, and I can try to figure it out and make plans for it or reservations if needed. Um, yeah. Yeah. As far as other stuff goes, I mean, I have. Right now, I've had to do a shitload of translation work for the main program, because we're putting together the annual reports of how the program goes, and part of that is that we make an English language one to send to the English departments around the city and to send back to America. Because if we just sent the people in Maine like a big book all in Japanese, they wouldn't understand it. So everybody that participated in the program, they have to write like a report and account of like what they did in Maine and where they went and how they felt about it and stuff, which is all good. But like most of the kids and the principal and stuff, they all wrote it in Japanese. We need an English version, and because all the actual like official translators from the city are all busy with other shit, basically most of the translation work has been me. And so I've had to do all this translation to get the principal's report and the students' reports done, and so that's taken up a big chunk of time and been good. But I really like the translating. It's good Japanese practice, and it's legitimately fun. That's why I translate manga and stuff. But it is pretty time consuming. Yeah, and we have the main students and stuff coming next summer too, which last year it was really intense, but this year it's going to be intense, but at least without doing the summer camp, it should be less of a pain in the ass for me, hopefully. Oh, which reminds me, we do have a thing here called Moya Hills Thunder, which in the summer is this it's a ski resort, but in the summer they have these like sort of sled cart tracks which you can go down, and you get on these little like wheel carts, and then you like slide down these little tracks on the mountain that are paved. It is really fun. One of the chaperones that came from Maine last year actually left a good chunk of the skin of one of his arms on said track. So if we can do that, it's fun, but please be careful if you do. Yeah, he ended up like with part of his arm, or part of the skin of one of his arms just like shredded off on the pavement, and some of his ribs cracked, and they had to go to Tokyo for like a day or two afterwards. And I asked, I saw him at the farewell party. He's like, "Oh yeah, I have cracked ribs," and I was like, "The fuck? We should go to the hospital. Like, there's one a few blocks from here. You can come with me. We'll get you fixed up." And he goes, "Oh no, I'm fine." And I'm like, "You have cracked ribs, Bill. You don't want to be traveling around like that." And he looked at me and goes, "I'll just have the kids carry my suitcases." Whatever you say, dude. So, yeah. So that's been sort of the my life for the past month or two. It's been really busy, and I've had a lot of stuff to do, and I'm trying to make these videos more of a priority. Um, I'm that's why I'm trying to figure out different stuff and different things to experiment with and try to make more videos and put them out at a more decent clip. Plus, like, a little variety from the Franbo is good, especially for my throat, because, doing Mr. Midnight's voice for that long, it has an effect on my vocal cords. Which, doing things in my normal voice that doesn't fuck up my vocal cords as much from recording session. Recording session is nice. So I'll be trying to do some more different videos and upload a little bit more frequently from now on. Yeah, I will see you in the next video.